Welcome to another episode of An Intimate Conversation with Women of Color. I am your host, Deneen L. Garrett, and today we have a different kind of guest. As you can see, he is of color. He's not a woman, but that's all right, because he is passionate about women of color and amplifying our voices and wanted to be a part of the conversation. So we have Al Jones, who is a service disabled veteran, personal finance author. So we're going to really, talk about wealth, game developer, an African-American Black male who had bad credit and achieved the perfect FICO score, 8 credit rating of 850. Al, tell us more about you.
Hello, I'm Al Jones, a personal finance author and game developer. I'm a native of Phoenix, Arizona. After years of making poor financial decisions and thinking it was the norm, I decided to take action, make a change in my life, and document the process along the way. I'm here to share with all of you the journey that I had from having bad credit to making an excellent credit rating of 850 with you and your guests. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. And so I do want to share about how this came about. So Al and I are both we're members or have our profiles on Podmatch. And so Al came across my profile and reached out. So actually, Al, I want to ask a question. What about an intimate conversation of women of color actually attracted you?
Well, my father and mother are both Black, and I wanted to share my experience of overcoming hardship with others in the Black community. So I thought this would be a great platform to do so.
And it absolutely is. And it actually comes at a great time because I think in August, maybe July, I started really focusing on wealth, right? And asking the guests about wealth. And so, you can speak a little bit more to that as we talk about credit, because there is a relationship between credit and wealth, or at least you can speak to us about what that relationship is. So I want to just pause for a moment because I said, you can see Al. And so those who are watching on YouTube can see Al. Those who are listening, you won't be able to see him. So, some of our conversation, just keeping in mind that we're on your favorite podcast platform as well as on YouTube. So let me go ahead and just dive in. So, an intimate conversation with women of color is a platform for women of color to use our voices. And you just kind of touched on what prompted you, to want to be a guest on here. So I want to ask you, why is it important for Black women to have this platform?
Having a platform for Black women gives them the opportunity to share their cultural experiences and know that they're not alone. Because oftentimes people go through situations that think that they're alone. So this platform for Black women will help them understand the fact that they're not alone in the journey.
Yeah, and I love that you say that because I actually was reading, I just finished a book yesterday by actually one of my favorite podcaster, Minda Hurt, and she wrote a book. This is her second book, Right Within, and she's talking about racialized experiences in the workplace, right? And a lot of what she mentions in the book is about you're not alone. And so that was one of the biggest takeaways that I took from that, is that we're not alone. So whatever that experience is, whether it's racial trauma in any setting, whether it's finances, whatever the situation is, we're not alone. And so the more that we talk about it, we have those conversations with other people, the more that we're aware that we're not alone and that we can actually come together and do something about it. So again, I so appreciate you reaching out. And what you did share with me is that your mom was a heavy influence in your life. And so, being raised by a Christian evangelical mother who lost both breast cancer, how did that shape your life?
Well, being raised in an evangelical Christian household, you're going to be exposed to discipline, to say the least. So that whole disciplined lifestyle helped create a foundation for my advancement into the military and going to military school when people are barking at you and screaming at you in your ear, that whole discipline lifestyle, that was cake.
Right,
That was,
right.
that was cake, versus what you get at home. It's like, okay, give me something hard.
Right,
So
right.
that,
This all you got?
right. So that, that laid the foundation for that. Further, in my advancement to realize that, all right, Al, you're in a bad situation with your personal finance. You've got to discipline yourself more to get back on the right track. So that initial early discipline, being in an evangelical Christian household, was the foundation, and I'm grateful that it was there to help me out further in life.
Yeah, and so you know what? That's the beauty of a foundation, right? Is that, you lay that foundation, because then everything else is just building off of that. And then you decide, or, based on choices, just any life choices, you may stray away from the foundation, but you can always come back to it because it was there. It was laid out for you. So, as you're saying, after hitting rock bottom, you eventually tapped into that. But what did rock bottom look like for you?
For me, and going back, rock bottom for me was I had to sleep in my car, living in a German roach, not the American roaches, but the German little roach infested studio.
Oh, wow.
For a bit, and at the less glamorous side of Austin, Texas. So living in there, living in the car, eating. One of the things I had to do during that rough patch, one of the rough patches, was I had to eat a pot of chili for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 1 week. Then I switched to a pot of spaghetti for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 years straight. So imagine having a pot of chili for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a full week. Then again, rotating, get this little chubs of ground beef, making some spaghetti, eating that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for an entire week, and rotating that pattern for 3 years straight to get your money reasonably in check. And still, I was scraping to get by. You've got the sadness, you've got the loneliness, you've got the multiple episodes of unemployment, identity theft, and you feel like a failure. You feel like a failure, you're all beat down. And to me, it was just a rough patch, one of the many rough patches. So in summary, that's what rock bottom looked like for me.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you hope to accomplish by using your voice to share your journey with Black women?
What I want to do is to let others know that, especially Black women, that you're not alone in the process. You may think, well, I'm the only one who have a 600 credit score. I'm the only one that if I walk around and I want to buy something on credit, someone's looking at me like, yeah, sales reps are looking at you like, yeah, sure, you want to buy something. You're not far from being alone. So I want to be the poster person, if you will, to let others know that, hey, you're not alone in the process and you can do it on your own. And that's what I did. I didn't go to one of those credit repair services. I did it on my own over a 15+ year process, cleaning up my credit, owning the fact that I did have a problem, and was willing to do whatever it took, multiple jobs, sleeping on the floor, blah, 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 to change my life.
Yeah. So now you mentioned that it was over 15 years. Does it take that long?
It can, depending on how bad your situation is. Depending on how bad your situation is. For me, it was really bad. It was like, low 600s, and you want to buy something and fill out your credit application, and they just kind of look at you like, yeah, as they generate a hard inquiry, like, yeah, sure you want to buy something. You want to drop a huge down payment, but for the most part, they just kind of look at you and laugh. And after a while, that gets old. It gets really old, really fast. And I wanted to make a change. I want to make a change.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just my, knowledge of credit scores, and so you were an overachiever, right? Because
A workaholic overachiever.
right.
Sleep when I'm dead, they say.
850.
Yeah.
You don't need
Sleep when I'm dead.
850. You can get away with what, 650 and above, 700. But let's just pause for a moment and what is the relevance of credit score? And then, a good credit score. And again, yours, you said that's the top, you overachieve. So let's kind of talk about the credit score itself.
Okay, so with the credit score, you've got FICO, which is the algorithm, the formula, if you will, that is used by, I think Experian primarily uses that, and you've got the Advantage score. So all these little algorithms that are used by the different credit bureaus, Equifax, and they're not paying me to say this,
Right.
Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So there's one that's, from my understanding, is largely used, a specific algorithm is the FICO. Okay, so that is primarily used when you go and apply for credit. And it's broken down into ranges. You've got bad credit, fair credit, good credit, and it can vary depending on the credit bureau. But in general, I tell people to focus on the FICO algorithm, the one that I talk about. And excellent credit, from my understanding, is from, I think, the 800 to 850. And I don't have the full graph here with me, but having good credit, I think that's like 750, or above. So 750 is good. Maybe 775 or so is good. That is good credit and can get you some good interest rates. But when you start knocking above the 800 score, then you really get the better deals.
Yeah.
You get the better deals.
And so you mentioned interest rates. So some of the things that interest rates, so mortgages, right? That's where you would need, that's what we're talking about as far as the credit is looked upon for, purchasing things that what you get a loan on. Those are the type of things that folks are looking at your credit score.
And even a car loan, when you see those 0% interest rates or 1% interest rate, they'll post that as a teaser, thinking, well, okay, I'll go in and maybe, I can qualify for it. You've got a 625, 630, whatever credit score, and you think, wow, gee, okay, I can qualify for that. You walk in the door, you fill it out. They know, once they do your score, that you're not going to qualify for it. But what happens is, once you do that, that is what they call a hard inquiry, and that's going to further lower your score by a couple of points or so. Mm-hmm. So that's when you see the 0% interest rate. Those are the kind of rates that you get when you're 800 and above. If you're anything below 800 and you see something like that, just keep moving, or be prepared to drop a large down payment.
Yeah. Yeah. So the benefit, right? You said just keep it moving. If you're not in the 800 and above club, just keep going, keep walking.
Yeah, at least when you see deals like that, like that. And the benefit for having excellent credit is options, is all about options. The option to be able to buy this, the option to be able to buy that. Once I initially got the 850 credit score, I had to do some, shopping to fix my phone at one of the local malls. And I was walking around while waiting for it to be repaired. I was walking around and was looking at the different shops. And I thought, you know what? If I wanted to, I could. I'm not, but I could. I had the option to buy this. I had the option to buy that. And the feeling of having that option, that was a great feeling in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you mentioned having to sacrifice and commit, to be able to build your score up. What are maybe 3 specific tangible things that you did that you want to share with the audience?
One of the things I did, the first thing I did, I owned up the fact that I had a problem. Okay. So once you own the fact that you've got a problem, then the other thing is you've got to commit to making the change. Yeah, okay, well, I got a problem, but you know what? Hey, I'm not going to do anything. So if you commit to making the change, that's a big thing. And the third is to act upon it. And act upon it goes along with some little subliminals, the sub ones, which could be generating your credit report and score from each of the 7 credit bureaus and making improvements to those.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great, great tips, right? And those tips don't just apply here in building your credit. They pretty much apply with anything, right? Any goal that you're after,
Yeah,
anything that you're wanting to accomplish.
own up to it.
Yeah,
And realize, hey, I've got a problem. I need to make a change, and I just gotta stop whatever behavior that is causing challenges in your life.
right. Absolutely. So some women of color do not recognize the power of their voices, which can also impact their credit score. Using your voice could be speaking, writing, which is, an expression of yourself, acting, however you want to express yourself. That's how I define using your voice. What words of wisdom do you have for these women? Like, what do you want our audience to know about what you're doing, about the things that you're doing?
The big thing is, again, you're not alone and you can make a change today. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
it. Yeah, that's it.
You're not alone, and
You're not alone. You can make a change if you want to. If you're
right,
willing to make
right.
that first step and say, you know what? Okay, this is old. I'm tired of this. I want to make a change. Let's do this. It's
Yeah,
possible.
absolutely. Hey, real simple and to the point. I love it.
Welcome to my world.
Right? Well, so I want to kind of talk about dreams deferred, right? So my sister, author and poet Soul True, she wrote a book, Dreams Deferred. And, when I was reflecting on the book, I wanted to encourage, first of all, I had to think about, pause for a moment, like, what have I deferred? Like, is there a dream that I deferred? And then I wanted to encourage other women to start thinking about if there's any dreams they've deferred. And if so, to go ahead and act upon those. So in the course of your time, whether it's, pre, hitting rock bottom, since then, at any point, has there been a dream that you deferred, and what did you do about it?
Early on, in high school, even before, I was the artist. I was the artsy, kid in the family. Well, that doesn't pay the bills, as I was told. So
Right.
I had to take the more traditional approach, and I was heavily encouraged to join the military. So attended college, joined the military, went to the military school, and joined the Army, commissioned officer in the Army. All the while, I still had these dreams and passion of being an artist. So after getting out of the military, actually I'm about 33 days left before retirement from IT with the government, 20 some odd years of doing that, plus a few years working in the private sector in procurement and information technology. I'm now able to more fully live my passion of working on my song lyrics trivia game, Lyrics Guru, which I've got out there. I've got some creative cover art on the books, and share my love of music, word games, and puzzles. So, hey, full circle.
Right, absolutely. I love that. Very nice, very cool. All right, so let's just dip into wealth building for a bit, right? And again, the credit and how that ties in. But how do you define wealth?
Well, wealth for me is abundance. You can have a wealth of knowledge, an abundance of knowledge. You can have financial wealth. You've got, a lot of liquid cash available. So wealth, again, to me is abundance.
Okay, okay. And I love that. I love that. And so speaking of, wealth building, what is the relevance of it?
The relevance of it is that having wealth gives you options. That's it. It gives you options. If you're more wealthy, hey, you can do more things.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, if you got a wealth of knowledge, you can learn more, you can share more. So again, to me, it all boils down to options.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I
I keep
fully
it
agree with
simple.
you.
I keep it
Yeah,
simple.
it is. You know what? And that's the way to be, right? We don't need to add anything to it. Don't need any extra words. Real simple. So going back to the, the 8 credit score, and you talked about how it does give you options. Is there any other role that an 800 plus credit score has in building wealth?
And then run it by me again.
Yeah. So, we talked about having a score of 800 and above gives
Okay.
you options.
Okay.
How else does that play in wealth building?
Uh, it shows that you are a trustworthy, it's a tangible, it has tangible proof, with an 850 plus score. It's a tangible proof that you are a trustworthy and reliable person. You're a
Yeah.
disciplined person. You've got your stuff in check. You can do this. You can stick to a routine. So that is the benefit, and that can go a long way.
Yeah.
Whether it's your banking, your financial stuff, or when you apply for a job. Okay, you apply for a job, and chances are they will likely, especially if you're dealing in finance, they're going to possibly generate a credit review of you, and that will give them a lot of information. So if you want to, you're hoping to be some accountant or something to do with finance, something to do with private information, and they look at your credit score and you see all kinds of delinquencies in there, they're going to think, oh, I don't know if I'm going to trust you with this information. How can I trust you with my money?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are the challenges that you're going to experience when you have a lower credit score.
Yeah. And so actually, when you were saying how, it's tangible proof of being trustworthy and reliable, what came to mind for me was, that's probably why some companies do want to run a credit check, right? Because they're not necessarily looking specifically about finances, but your behavior. So they're
Correct.
using that as a way to
gauge your behavior.
gauge your behavior. So that makes sense. All right. Well, before we go into the bonus question, what would you like to leave the audience with? What would you like the audience to know about Al Jones?
I would like the audience to know that, back again, you're not alone. And if you have some questions regarding personal finance, reach out to me and I will do my best to assist you. Also, check out my book online, My Journey from Bad to Excellent Credit. It's on Amazon, paperback, audiobook, as well as on Kindle, relating to the personal finance stuff. So.
And I'll definitely have those information on ways to connect and the name of the book. All of that will be in the show notes. So bonus question, it's November. It's actually, we're wrapping up November. Can you believe we're less than
It's crazy.
a week?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, okay, we're already past Thanksgiving.
Yes, my goodness. Yeah, we're beyond. So at this point, we're beyond. We are on just a few more days to December. That's crazy. But it's Native American Heritage Month. And during this time, we pay tribute to the rich ancestry and traditions of Native Americans. So you're in Arizona, and, if I'm not mistaken, I think there, might be several reservations, further out, or there's probably a lot of influence in the area. What relevance is Native American Heritage Month to you?
Native American Heritage Month and heritage in general is important to me because what I did is I subscribed to Ancestry.com, did their DNA with that 23andMe. I did their DNA test, as well as the defunct Nat Geo. I did the DNA test with that and was able to learn more about me. So when you have months like that, the Native American Ancestry Month, it helps one to remember the importance of learning who you are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly, right? It tells a lot about you, what you didn't know, may even explain why maybe you have certain characteristics or certain things that you're attracted to, and or just, just to have you on going back to what you said throughout, you're not alone, right?
Right.
You're not alone. And now your circle has grown. So definitely. So thank you so much for sharing that. And again, thank you so much for reaching out and wanting to be a part of this conversation and elevating the voices of women of color and helping us to, to really think about what an 800 plus credit score looks like and having the tools and resources to help us to get there. I so greatly appreciate you, Al Jones, and thank you so
Also,
much.
also on going back to finding out the history of your ancestry, and 23andMe is not paying me to say this, but 23andMe has a service in addition to the standard DNA, is they've got a health DNA element to it, to where, let's say you want to figure out if you have cancer, liver failure, whatever issues that are within your DNA. Do 23andMe, check out the health stuff, and get as much information as you can. Fair warning, when you get the information, your family members, some of your family members, you would think, hey, okay, tell me everything I need to know about what's in my bloodline. Some family members may say, I don't want to know. I want to live in the dark. And that's their option.
Right.
Okay? That's their option. So be prepared for that. Okay, be prepared for that. So on a final note, just want to say thank you again for the opportunity, and for those that are interested in my Lyrics Guru game. Again, I've got a bunch of books that are out now on Amazon.com's website. Look up Lyrics Guru Song Lyrics Puzzle Book. We've got song lyrics trivia game where they'll take the song lyrics from various artists, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Elvis, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and so on. We take the lyrics from each one of their albums and we create puzzles based on the lyrics from their songs. So word scramble, word search, word match, first cryptogram, hangman, great stuff.
Awesome, awesome. And so can they also get that from your website or your Facebook page, any of that?
It's listed on Facebook. I've got a lot of posts. Since lately, it's been really hitting the top of the chart. So if they want to find it on my personal Facebook page, again, they can go to facebook.com/Alton, A-L-T as in Tom, O-N .J.Jones. Okay, so that's my Facebook handle. Or if they want, just go ahead and do a direct search on Amazon's website. And again, look up Lyrics, L-Y-R-I-C-S, Guru, G-U-R-U, two separate words, Song Lyrics Puzzle Book. And I've got a bunch of them out now, so they're ready for Cyber Monday. Enjoy yourself.
Awesome, awesome. So I will make sure to update that as well to include it. Again, thank you so very much for spending time with me, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You do the same. Thanks again.
You're welcome.